What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel here from the GeekSpeakNation channel, and oh baby, do we have a video for you today. We're talking the Game Awards, and specifically the nominees. However, before we get into that, I gotta explain where I've been. I have not been streaming for the past couple of days, but let me explain why, and that's because I became a Twitch affiliate. Yay! And because of that, I have been doing some stuff behind the scenes, pre-working notifications for subscriptions and trying to create emotes. So I should be up and running and streaming again on either Sunday or Monday, one of those two. And we'll be hitting the ground running, back playing some more Assassin's Creed Valhalla. But I wanted to just give you guys that update of why things have been a little bit delayed on doing the Twitch streams. It's because, hey, good things are happening over there. So remember, twitch.tv/GeekSpeakGaming if you want to catch that. But if you need that beautiful reminder, you can always go over to our Discord, which is linked in the description or in the pinned comment below, to be able to get notified of whenever I go live on Twitch, or just go to Twitch directly. It's entirely up to you, but I gave you that option. You're welcome. Now, with that being said, we're talking about the Game Awards today. However, most people will tell you that they have the predictions, or they're giving their predictions for the Game Awards. No. I'm gonna tell you today who's gonna win, because I'm that good. Okay, I'm that good at guessing things. Don't worry. If you even have to put money on it, don't worry. Whatever I say, you cannot legally hold me accountable, but you could use what I say as your bets. I am that confident. I am that confident in my predictions. All right, but let's check out this list of nominees. Let's see here. Also, I do have to say, Game Awards, what a lovely website. Like this little logo, and it loads up. I see you. It's nice. It's nice. Little animations. The 2020 nominees. The Game Awards is proud to announce the games and individuals nominated for this year's awards. Whoops. Winners will be revealed live on Thursday, December 10th. Okay. Biggity bet. I gotta mark my calendar. Let's see here. So, right off the bat, Game of the Year. All right, here's what we got going on. We got Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Animal Crossing New Horizons, and Last of Us Part 2. Okay. I have to admit, this is a very stacked list. And I know some people are upset because Star Wars Fallen Order didn't make it. You should not be surprised that game did not make it. These are all heavy hitters and big zeitgeist games of the year. And even though it released too late last year to qualify for last year's Game Awards, I'm sorry, but Jedi Fallen Order does not hold a candle to almost every single one of these games, even if I don't like them or haven't played them. I know the impact is way bigger. Now, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed the story in Jedi Fallen Order enough. I think that the story for that game is one of the best things to ever come out of Disney's era of Star Wars ever. Like, since like The Force Awakens, probably. It's like the best thing is the story. But the combat is dull. It's a ripoff of a whole bunch of other stuff. There's no animation canceling, so it lacks the fluidity. It's just not hitting, Chief. It's just not hitting, especially compared to a lot of these other titles. So let's see here. We got Doom Eternal. I think Doom Eternal is a strong choice, but I just don't see it winning Game of the Year. And the only reason is it didn't have the same hit or the same impact of the culture like the first game did. When the first game came out and it hit the ground running, it ripped and teared through the competition of just being in the minds of gamers and bringing Doom back. You know what I mean? Like, it was just in there. And it was just so in there, and it just seems like there's a little bit of an off reception to Doom Eternal. Some people prefer it to the original, some people don't. It's kind of a toss-up. It's kind of a toss-up. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Oh man, making me choose between Final Fantasy VII Remake and Ghost of Tsushima is cruel and unusual punishment. I absolutely adore both video games. And it's not, and you cannot underestimate the impact, because that's the thing, right? When we're talking about the juries that vote on this thing, it's a jury of people who vote on this who are like journalists and all this other stuff. Impact matters. That's why I keep bringing up impact. But the cultural impact on the community, or the overall effect, oh god, I hit the microphone, but the overall effect that a game has had on pop culture, or the overall effect that the game has had on the gaming industry, that stuff matters. You know, that's why Fortnite gets nominated for a lot of stuff, even though, you know, people look at it and be like, oh, it's not that good of a game, it's not like this or that. Look, I don't like Fortnite either, all right? But we can't deny the impact that it's had, okay? That deserves recognition, you know? That's why it puts itself up there in an elite circle of games, all right? Not many games have done what that game has done. So that's something you got to keep in mind with a lot of these selections. And when it comes to Final Fantasy VII Remake, we're talking about something that people have waited, what, 23 years for, to a certain degree? You know? For a game that came out the year that I was born, and people have wanted something to remaster that experience and make it look even better with cutting edge graphics, and to me that game delivers. You know, it delivers. But Ghost of Tsushima, talk about a full package, you know what I mean? I mean, single player is phenomenal. Hardly any ludonarrative dissonance. It's just this beautiful story. One of the best looking games that have ever been created, with a great combat system that's now even better because it runs at 60 frames per second on the PlayStation 5. And on top of that, they just threw out multiplayer like it was nothing. Incredible. Incredible. Hades, haven't finished it, still playing through it on my Switch. Phenomenal game. Animal Crossings. I mean, Animal Crossing did the same thing, kind of like what Fortnite did, where it transcended gaming and became a pop culture thing of the zeitgeist, and everybody was into it and sold millions and millions of copies. And then we had The Last of Us Part 2, which is probably the most divisive game, one of the most divisive games ever created. A game that I personally really enjoy the combat of, but I think the game is too long-winded and terribly written for the story. I think the story is really bad, but a lot of gaming journalists really eat it up, so I don't know. I feel like it's a toss-up between Ghost of Tsushima, Animal Crossings, and Last of Us Part 2. I could see Last of Us Part 2 getting it because people think it's groundbreaking and people think it's just, you know, it's pushing the genre forward and all that stuff, so I'd say it's either going to be between that or Animal Crossings. Yeah. That's what I'd say. Because, like, the impact Animal Crossings has had this year is, like, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. But I see them probably giving it to The Last of Us Part 2. Unfortunately. Best game direction. We're going to have Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, Last of Us Part 2. I think they're gonna give it to The Last of Us Part 2. They love Neil Druckmann. I think that's just gonna be a given. I think that's just a given, unfortunately. Best narrative. The reason I see we got 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, and Last of Us. I see Hades possibly coming out on top as a contender because of how unique it is for a roguelike game to be able to keep using dying as part of the storytelling aspect, using the gameplay as storytelling in a very brilliantly written way. I see that as like maybe the sleeper, right? Maybe the sleeper. But genuinely, I see The Last of Us Part 2 being the darling of the game show this year. You know how everyone thought, you know, like a game like Death Stranding was going to be, and it did sweep up a lot of awards, or like Red Dead 2. I feel like the same thing is going to happen with The Last of Us Part 2, where this is going to be probably the favored one to win almost any category that it's in. Because technically, it's a very amazing game, but at the same time, critics are absolutely in love with this game. I mean, in love with this game. Personally, I'd give it to Ghost of Tsushima. I think the narrative of that story is brilliant. Like, I think the way that they handle telling a real revenge, like a real revenge story that makes sense for the characters and the decisions that they make at the end, and showing the consequences of revenge, I think are much more interesting and much more grounded in Ghost of Tsushima personally. So that's kind of my favorite right there. But like I said, I still see I still see Last of Us taking it. Now, now this is a hard category. Best art direction. We got Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and Last of Us Part 2. That's a hard toss-up between, I'd probably say Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, and Ori. I'd probably say they'd probably end up giving it to Hades or Ori. But my vote's on Ghost of Tsushima. I still think probably Ghost of Tsushima is the best game of the year. Hands down. Like, I think it's the best game of the year. Like, that package is just incredible. But I could see Hades or Ori taking the reins on that one. Best score and music. Who has the best soundtrack? Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, and The Last of Us Part 2. I think Gustavo Santaolalla, I think his score was weaker for Part 2, and I think the director wanted it to be. And I don't like that because I thought the score in The Last of Us Part 1 was brilliant. I thought Gustavo and what he created in that was immaculate. And the fact that they wanted him to do less of it or have a less impactful score is just ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I'm not trying to turn this into I hate The Last of Us Part 2 type thing, but I genuinely have critiques of why I wouldn't vote for it, but I see why other people would vote for it in a lot of categories. And knowing the gaming journalists that are voting for these games, yeah, The Last of Us Part 2 is basically a shoe-in for almost every single one of these. However, I'd say the game that has the best score has got to be Final Fantasy VII Remake. I think the score for that game is brilliant. And I think that because of the three composers that we have over here, because not only do you have Nobuo, am I pronouncing that right? Nobuo Uematsu? Yeah, I think I'm pronouncing that right. And then Masashi Hamauzu. Well, you have the three composers who are really, really good at their job. And yeah, the soundtrack to Final Fantasy VII Remake is so varied, but yet so cohesive. It's fantastic. Like, I don't know how they pulled it off, because you have everything from like almost these kind of like almost hip hop EDM tracks, and then you also have these classical orchestral compositions, and you have these gorgeous renditions of songs that have been done previously but have been amplified prior, and the boss music in almost every encounter is insane. I mean, the Airbuster music is incredible. One Winged Angel in this game, mind-boggling. As someone who loves orchestral scores, it's just truly the skill that's being put on display in Final Fantasy Remake. It's hard to match. Just from the technical skill alone of taking all these disparate places and pieces and putting it together and making an overall sound that is Final Fantasy VII. It's great. It's great. Let's see here. Best audio design. We have Doom Eternal, Half-Life Alyx, Ghost of Tsushima, Resident Evil 3, Last of Us Part 2. I feel like Doom is probably going to take that one. Because if you want something that is an immersive hellscape, you Doom. Like, what? Although personally, I probably Last of Us Part 2 had some really good sound design. It had some really immersive sound design. The 3D audio, essentially, or like that being able to hear the three-dimensional spaces was brilliant. But I'd say for an overall package of an immersive experience, I'd probably still give it a Doom Eternal. Let's see, best performance. It's either going to be Ashley Jensen or it's going to be Laura Bailey. I mean, that's just what it is. Daisuke was great as Jin. I think his performance is very underrated in Ghost of Tsushima. I think a lot of people are overlooking it because it's very subdued, but that is the point of it, because he tries to suppress a lot of his emotions in his performance. So that's why. Then Logan Cunningham as Hades, I think is a good performance, but I just don't see it being able to surpass everything else that was out here. And then Najee Jeter as Miles Morales, really good. But it just does not reach the range of something like Laura Bailey or Ashley Johnson in their respective roles, just because it's, I think it's more so they have a lot more of an emotional range to work with. So there's no denying that either one of those two, being Laura Bailey or Ashley Johnson, are going to win. Personally, I'd probably vote Laura Bailey because I don't understand how she just completely transforms her voice for every role that she does. She is a master of her profession. So yeah, I'd probably give it to Laura Bailey as Abby. Yeah, that's gonna be my number one pick probably. Although I love Dice Game. Games for Impact. I know none of these games, so we're just gonna skip that, unfortunately. If you need me to tell you, If Found, that's the one that's gonna win. I got you. See, boom. Best ongoing game: Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Call of Duty Warzone, Fortnite, and No Man's Sky. I say it's a toss-up between Warzone and Fortnite. I feel like you just can't deny how massive Warzone was over this last year. Like, Warzone has been insane. Even though it's kind of died down now because of the latest release, I still think, like, Warzone has been, like, yo, it's pop culture zeitgeist right now. And it just released only in what, like March of this year or something like that. Like, it hasn't even been out. Warzone itself hasn't even been out for a year, and it's been crazy. It's been crazy. So I think Warzone's gonna win. Best indie game: Hades, Spelunky 2, Spiritfarer, Fall Guys, Carry On. Those are all nice, but Hades. Supergiant Games is big baller. Let's see here. Best mobile game: Among Us, Call of Duty Mobile, Genshin Impact, Legends of Runeterra, and Pokemon Cafe. Even though I think Genshin Impact is the most impressive game out of all these games on the list for a mobile game, I still think Among Us is going to win just for the pop culture impact that it's had this year, not for the actual quality of the game. Yeah. But it is what it is. Best community support: I don't. If you need to know, it's gonna be it's Fall Guys. What am I supposed? Okay. Best VR: Half-Life Alyx. That's not even a competition. Marvel's Iron Man, Star Wars, Walking Dude, Dreams. It's Half-Life Alyx. Half-Life Alyx is definitely the winner. Accessibility: recognizing accessibility in games. I think Last of Us, right? Last of Us had incredible amounts of things, especially for me as a guy who loves big, beautiful, bold subtitles. The amount of options I had were great. And they also had like the colorblind mode and the sound mode and the visually impaired mode. I think Last of Us is going to take that one. I think they're going to win that one for sure. All right, best action game. We got Doom Eternal, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, Neo 2, and Streets of Rage. I've only played Neo 2 and Hades on this list, and I would give it a Neo 2, but unfortunately, I think that award is going to go to Doom Eternal. So I just think that's the way the news goes for that one. Let's see here. Best action adventure. I love saying it like that. Best action adventure. Let's see here. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Ghost of Tsushima, Spider-Man Miles Morales, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and The Last of Us Part 2. Personally, the game that provides the most action and adventure, I'd say Ghost of Tsushima. You get the action and you get the adventure. It has got traversal, it's got the puzzle solving, but I think it has it in spades, and it is just unmatched in its open world feats and in its immersion as an overall experience. So Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah, Ghost of Tsushima. I would give it for best action adventure, but yet again, I would not be surprised if they gave it to Last of Us Part 2. Let's see here. Best role-playing game. Final Fantasy VII Remake, Genshin Impact, Persona 5 Royal, Wasteland 3, and Yakuza Like a Dragon. That is not fair. You are making me pick between Final Fantasy VII Remake and Persona 5 Royal. It's Persona 5 Royal. Best fighting game. Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, MK11 Ultimate, Street Fighter V Champion Edition, One Punch Man. No. Under Night In-Birth EX Late Claire. I think it's gonna be MK11 Ultimate. Grand Blue Fantasy just got released literally when COVID started, so it just died on, basically was DOA. And on top of that, it has delayed base netcode, so that's just DOA. Street Fighter V, I just don't think the other games have had that much of a strong show out as Mortal Kombat has in its presence this year. Plus, the community was mad at Street Fighter V for most of the time of this last year with their whole netcode debacle and all that stuff. Best family game, I don't know. Animal Crossing. I see Animal Crossing. That definitely got the W. Best simulation strategy game. Microsoft Flight Simulator. All right, that's what's gonna win. Okay. Best sports and racing game. Man, they're just like what, 3 for 3 for categories of games that I don't play. It's Pro Skater. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Okay. All right, best multiplayer game. Now this right here is a stacked category. We got Animal Crossings, Among Us, Call of Duty Warzone, Fall Guys, and Valorant. That is a stacked experience. For outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of the game genre or platform. I'd say it's a toss-up between Animal Crossing, Among Us, and Warzone. I think you're safe picking any of those 3 to win. Those are all really strong choices. But like everybody who had a Nintendo Switch basically played Animal Crossing. But like, you know, a senator became like the fastest Twitch partner ever because of an Among Us stream. So, but then the millions and millions of people who play Warzone, it's insane. Man, let's give it to Among Us. Sure. I don't know. Creator of the Year. I don't know why I'm not on here. It's actually kind of pissing me off. But okay, Creator of the Year. Alana Pierce, J. Ann Lopez. Wait, how is Alana Pierce nominated, but she's okay, I guess it makes sense. Because she's one of the voters for the Game Awards. So I don't know how that works, but is it cheating if she votes for herself? But I mean, you vote for yourself if you're running for... Anyways, point is, Alana Pierce, J. Ann Lopez, Nick Merckx, Tim the Tap Man, Valkyrie Ray, is that how you pronounce it? I'm not too sure. I give it to Nick Merckx because I watch Nick Merckx all the time. I don't know. I really don't watch any of the other streamers, and really kind of fell off watching most of Alana Pierce's content. So, maybe Alana I'd see as being the pick because she's just kind of blown up lately, as like she's hosting everything. Like she's on Greg Miller levels of hosting everything lately. So maybe that's it. Best debut game: Carry On, Mortal Shells, Raji, Ryuzo, and then Mortal Shell. Mortal Shell wins. Best esports athlete: Ian Crim. I don't know any of these people. Okay. Eeny, meeny, miny, moe, catch a tiger by his tail, Kim Canyon Jian Bu. He is going to be the one that's going to win. All right, there you go. Best esports coach. Okay, obviously the choice is Eeny, meeny, moe, Daehee Krusty Park. This guy Krusty, let me tell you, he's been making a wave. He is an unstoppable wave, a tsunami even, splashing away the competition. I love him to death. Great job, buddy. Congrats on your win. Best esports event. Let's see here. Blast Premier Call of Duty Championship. League of Legends is still like the most popular game in the world, right? League of Legends. Okay, there we go. All right, best esports game. Well, I definitely wouldn't say Call of Duty Modern Warfare because they had a big problem with the esports scene because of how unbalanced some of the weapon attachments were and support from Activision, no ranked mode. Anyways, Counter-Strike, Fortnite, League of Legends, Valorant. I don't know, Valorant kind of blew up. Maybe Valorant will win. I'm not too sure. I'm out of the loop with Fortnite. I don't keep up with Fortnite, so maybe the tournaments have been huge for that. I'd say if you want a safe bet, League of Legends. If you're feeling a little edgy, maybe Valorant. If you don't know who to vote for, Fortnite. If you want to lose, you either go Call of Duty or Counter-Strike. Right? Yeah, sounds about right. Best esports host. Well, obviously, it's gonna be Eeny, Meeny, James Patterson. Let me tell you about James. I've known James since I've known his name, and my goodness, he has never failed to surprise me. So he's definitely taking home the it's incredible. Best esports team. G2 Esports, congratulations, man. Y'all did a great job. And with that being said, that concludes the list of every single person who is obviously going to win or lose at the Game Awards. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. And that is our overall list of everyone and everything being nominated at the Game Awards. I think the darling of the Game Show Awards is going to be The Last of Us Part 2, unless the critical opinion of those voting is as divided as the community itself of people who actually played the game or pretended like they did. I still think that is going to be the game. I keep wanting to say unfortunately. I shouldn't say unfortunately. A lot of people worked really hard on that game, and it's not just the writing. Just because you don't like the writing doesn't mean it's not a very well made game. It is. It's one of the best made games ever. It's gorgeous, beautiful. It's a technical marvel on the PlayStation 4. However, yeah, if that ends up being an upset, I could see some room for Final Fantasy VII and Ghost of Tsushima really just chopping up the block in that. But when you keep in mind when it comes to the Game Awards, man, PlayStation exclusives, they really be holding it down, don't they? They really be holding it down. But yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how things turn out. Like I said, if things are as divided behind the scenes as most of the community is publicly, then maybe The Last of Us Part 2 doesn't win as much. But I truly think that The Last of Us Part 2 is basically going to be the Red Dead Redemption 2 of this Game Awards. Like it's coming to Clean House. I'm sorry if you wanted to win something in your category, but The Last of Us Part 2 was nominated, so you gotta sit there and clap. I'm so happy for them, but I'm crying on the inside. So that's how I think games are kind of going to go. But there's a lot of space for things to surprise us. And even in a lot of categories where very popular games like, you know, Animal Crossing and all this sort of stuff are very big in the categories, I still think there's space for a lot of these games to end up being the winner. So it's going to be interesting to see how things go, but those are kind of my predictions in general. Take it or leave it. It's entirely up to you. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/GeekSpeakGaming to catch me playing some video games either Sunday or Monday. Still haven't quite figured it out yet, but if you want to get notified of everything that goes on in the community and join a community of people who love to talk about nerdy stuff, make sure you go over down there to our Discord and hit up that link down there in the description or the comment sections down below to be able to join in on the conversation, join in on the fun, and let's create an awesome community together. Let's do it. And with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comment sections down below who you think is going to take home the gold or the silver or the spinning piece of metal home in the comment sections down below. Thank you so much, guys. I really do appreciate it. I'm Daniel, and don't forget to get geeky.